We are
We are
here.
live. We are here. Are we
We have
here?
been alive the whole time, but now we are live on the YouTube. Is that correct?
That's what I think.
Okay, well, I've got a
It says we're
screen over
live.
here.
I got the screen over
So
here too. I
I'm
just want to make sure
looking.
it's up. There's
Yep.
going to be a little bit of a delay.
It
Oh,
says we're live. I got a notification. There we
we're
are.
live. We're live.
Well,
We are
there's an
here.
ad. Freaking
Yeah. Yeah.
cheapskates, us. Let me
Yeah.
skip that ad.
Okay.
All right, we're here.
We are here.
Looks
We are live.
great. All right, we're
We're
there.
doing it. We're
Hi,
doing it.
everybody. That is Nick.
I
Nope.
am over here. Yep. Yep.
Yep, that is Nick. I am John.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we're really excited to be live on our YouTube channel here. Congrats to all the followers on following an account with 10,000 subscribers. Congrats us. Yeah,
Yay.
is that
Yeah.
good? We
Yeah.
did that. But before we get going, a couple housekeeping things. We're going to talk about speech flighting. We're going to break it down. It's going to be a killer presentation. But will you let me know in the comments? Are they over that way when I point? Nope, that
Nope.
way.
They're
Let
that
me know.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know in the comments if you can hear me and see me and hear Nick and see Nick. Nick, what are
Yep.
you up to? How's it going?
Oh man. I've been, I don't know, this is something we've had on the calendar for a little while to do, and normally Blake is the one that runs all this stuff from behind the scenes for us. However, Blake was like shooting a wedding today, or he's busy. So now I had to learn a new streaming program to get this all up and running. And I did it in like the last 2.5 hours. And so, yeah, there we go. We are good. We are ready. We are excited to jump into this lighting your toasts free training thing.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments. Seeing some of the comments. Yes, you can hear us. Where
great.
you're from.
Where
Let
are
us
you
know
watching
where
from?
you're from, what camera system you use, and an emoji to describe your skill level with lighting speeches and
And
toasts.
if you want to win this, hit that like button. If you want to win this Aputure light, hit that like button in the little thing
That works,
below our
right? Yeah,
video.
that gets you an extra vote.
Yeah, yeah. If you just stumbled upon this and you don't have, I don't know, you haven't done this, that's what I do. Here's a QR code. John is going to put the link in the chat. John, do you have the
Here's
link
thing,
to this?
Nick. I have this prop here, this Aputure light. We're giving one of
Yeah.
these away. I think when I post a link, it's not turning it into a URL because I'm not logged into How to Film Weddings. Should I switch accounts and do that?
Hold on, I might be able
Or will
to.
that jack things up?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm enjoying where people are from. Kansas City, Missouri, R6, and a poop emoji. Okay. I like that. R5 sweat emoji. Oh my goodness. I love all this. Anyway, I can switch accounts real quick, Nick, if I need to.
I
But
think I
this
got it. I think I got it.
this is what's at stake today. We're going to be giving one of these suckers away. This will change your life if you don't use this or something similar. This is the Aputure 60X. I use these at every one of my weddings. Now I have 4 of them. I only really use 2, sometimes 3 of them, but I've got one as a studio light, and this one's just mainly a prop now. So I just use it to show off. You got to spend money to make money, Nick. You got to spend money to make money. That's one of those we're here. We're loud and clear. People can hear us. We've gotten over 100 people live now. We were waiting to do anything. We spit on anything under than 100. We're a big deal. We're How to Film Weddings.
Oh man.
I am kidding. All right.
Are you though?
I wanted to make you uncomfortable and I succeeded. I'm looking over here at my screen. You've got it on there to win an Aputure. Just click that button and it'll sign you up.
Yeah.
On
So
the
there's a
wait
link
list.
in the chat, and if you want to enter via your phone, just hold up your phone to the screen there, and then you can maybe win this Aputure light. We will be doing this giveaway at the end, and you must be present to win. That's the whole thing. You got to be present.
And you have to answer a question about the presentation.
Oh, do you?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I've been in front of the Zoom so much today, Nick. I'm like you 3 drinks. I'm 3 drink John, basically. So anyway, here we are. We got a lot of people posting poop emojis, sweat emojis, upside down emojis. A lot of people here to learn.
A lot of people here to learn. So, John, before we get started and we do this presentation on how to correctly light your toast, and someone's going to win this Aputure light, let's take a step back and talk about why lighting matters. So I'm going to let you talk for a second here. Why would you say that lighting matters in the business that we're in?
Yeah. So for the longest time, I just kind of took what I got, just filmed, into laser beams if DJs gave me those. I would always film into the lighting tree on dancing that the DJ had. I just never paid attention. But the more that I really learned about lighting and shaping lighting around the time I met Nick, I was starting to really get serious about using light correctly. Lighting speeches kind of taught me the things I needed to know about lighting the entire day and using light or not, or window light or not, and just how to use a key light and how to use a hair light and what that means. And where can I fill in light? How can I use things in the foreground? It just helped me really understand the entire gamut of what we're doing, and my entire film's gotten better. But what it did was it made my film stand apart from others,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there was just this little X factor. The something about it made it feel a little more expensive or a little more intentional, or and people were drawn to that. And about 2 years into, really 2019 really is when I really started caring about lights. I was charging around 7 to 8 thousand for an average for wedding films, and changing this, I'm not saying it's the only thing I've did, but it was one of the things I did. And now, pushing 15, 20,000 for most of my bookings at this point. Lighting, if you want to charge more, matters a lot. It really changes the dynamic, and you can set the mood for your films with the lighting. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, we always talk about, wanting to charge more. And, with all the education and stuff that's out there, I think people are beginning to charge a lot more, a lot faster. But if you go to people that are charging, 6,000 plus, 5,000 plus, and you look at their films, you might be like, why are they different? And why are they consistently being able to charge that? Where I might get one that's up in that range, but it's the outlier. Like it's definitely not the norm. This is one of those things that will help you get into that area. People that are charging, 5,000 plus, 6, 8, 10,000 plus, they are doing stuff like this when it comes to lighting that just elevate your films. And it's not just the lighting itself that makes their work better, but it's that paired with everything else they're doing. So we definitely want to put you on the right path on how to light your toasts well. And so that's what we are going to be talking about today. So,
Yeah, and I'll
John, are
just
you
throw it
ready to
out
just,
there.
throw it out
Yeah,
there?
I throw it out there that I was making good money before like really diving into lighting. And it can feel like a daunting subject. And I've watched this presentation and I've looked through it. Nick did most of the legwork on this, for the details of this. And it's very practical and very easy to understand. But like whenever I started taking those steps, sometimes it felt overwhelming. So if you feel overwhelmed with some of this information, just go back and watch this video again, or drop a question. We'll do some Q&A at the end. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm ready to get into it. Let's
Okay.
freaking go.
Let's go. So a few things to keep in mind. We want to jump into this toast lighting and share. I want to share with you guys a lot of stuff. This is something that I've come to know pretty well, and I'm kind of passionate about it when it comes to this area. But before we actually talk about lighting and placing them and that stuff, there's a few things that you are going to need to know and things to talk about. One, if you want to do toast lighting well, if you want to light your receptions up well, you need lights. I know that with the invention of mirrorless cameras, and especially the Sonys out there, it's people like, oh, I can film in pitch black. Yeah, you can. And maybe you don't need lights to film something, but there is a night and day difference between filming something without lights and filming something with lights. Did you like that? I did that on purpose, night and day.
There's a night and day difference.
Night and day difference. So you're going to need lights. And also
Uh,
the cheaper lights that are out there, maybe you get a big light that's really powerful, but it's cheaper because it's daylight balanced. We do not recommend daylight balanced lights for your receptions. We recommend bicolor lights. And the reason is when it comes to Kelvin and stuff getting darker, you need to turn your lights a little bit more orange, a little more tungsten. And so the lighting is going to look off. So I would recommend spending a little bit more money for that light, or maybe not getting as powerful a light, but getting one that has that bi-colored feature on it. And here is our kit. If you want to QR code that, and it can go over there and you can see the exact lighting setup that John and I have for our weddings. So, John, why don't you talk about this for a second? Because I know this was something that whenever you heard about it, it like totally blew your mind.
I think you're talking about asking for the house lights because I can't see your screen. Okay, cool. Yeah, ask for the house lights to be turned down. So we're gonna get into talking about toast lighting and stuff now. The first thing that it was just there in front of me for so long, but it didn't I didn't think of it. It was asking for the house lights to be turned down. If you're in a reception venue, talking to the planner, talking to the person over the venue, say, hey, we're about to do speech lighting here in just a little bit. The couple has asked me to kind of control, like be in control here. You can chat with them before the wedding day, but like this should be your moment to shine. No pun intended. You can just call me John Pun. But asking for the house lights to be turned down, asking the planner, hey, can we bring these down? And every time I ask, the planner actually is like, sure, let me know if this works, or let me know when you're ready. Let me know when. Asking the lights to be turned down will make a huge difference in the fall off behind your subject. So Nick, I'm going to throw it back over to you to show some differences between having the house lights on and not.
Yeah, so here's a photo on screen right now where the girl on the left, I had the house lights off and it's very dark behind her. There's just that fall off. And to the right, while he is lit well, it just doesn't have the same effect because the lights are on behind him. Of course, this one, you can ask me about that some other time. It was just not the best experience for that wedding day with the toasts and stuff. But you can tell that there is a major difference with the house lights off behind and on the other one. Now, you don't necessarily have to get them turned off, but we recommend if there's anything that they can do to turn the lights down. Continuing to move on, a mic stand is going to be your best friend. We recommend if you want to get serious about lighting your toasts and having them look a certain way to bring a mic stand. And the reason is because it's going to be consistent light. Someone walks up to the mic stand and it's lit really well. And then if it's not on the mic stand, they're just walking around, they're moving around, and then the light is changing, and what you have spent time to look really nice no longer looks really nice because they're walking around and they're going in and out of the light. It's dark, it's light, it's kind of a mess. John, what do you have to add?
Well, first of all, I think it'd be hilarious to do a marketing campaign where you and a mic stand are best friends, maybe frolicking in the woods. I just thought of that. I almost lost my stuff thinking about that. I'm telling you, I've been in front of Zoom a lot today. Another little note, a solid mic stand, and then between speeches, I'll have my second shooter raise and lower the mic and give the speech giver just a quick heads up and say, hey, stand right here, talk right into the mic. And the last little tidbit, a piece of gaff tape, non-sticky gaff tape. If you get that mic in that mic stand, you can tape it and the subject cannot take the mic off the mic stand. I just really quickly before they speak, give them, hey, just talk to the couple. This mic is where they want it to be. Do not take it out of the stand. And I raise and lower it to be right near their mouth so they can hear their audio really well. I know we're not talking about audio today, but that's a little bonus tip.
Yeah, and if you can actually see in this picture, I made it full screen. You can see the gaff tape there on the microphone if you look pretty closely, just so they would not get up and walk around with that. So moving on, we recommend we want to be as unobtrusive as possible when it comes to our lighting for receptions and for toasts and stuff, but different lights have different power. And so we recommend getting your lights as far away as possible while still able to hit your subject. So for some lights, like this Aputure 60X that someone is going to win later today, you can put it 20, 25, 30, you can put it clear across the room and it will still hit your subject because they are.
I leave it in my studio at my house.
Yeah,
I just leave it in my studio
for weddings.
I light the subject.
For weddings in Colorado, John lights them from his house. But if you have maybe a panel light, something that's not a spotlight, you might not be able to get that far away. It might have to be 5 or 10 feet away from your subject, and that's okay, because you are doing it purposely and intentionally. So we want to get the lights as far away as possible, but it's still hitting the subject. Yeah, John.
I'm a slide behind. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay.
I don't have anything to add. I'm a moron.
Okay. No, you are not a moron. The next thing we want to talk about is shooting into the shadow side of the face. And this is something that we have learned a lot about over the last couple of years. So John, I want you to talk about that. I assume that's why you had your finger up, that you wanted to talk about this shoot.
No, I was a slide behind. I was going to ask people. Yeah, I was going to ask people if they have ever had someone take a mic off a stand and walk around in the dark.
Oh,
And if so,
definitely
to
have.
throw up a hand in the comments. Do that though. I really want to know because it's happened to me too many times. Okay. So the shadow side of the face. I remember hearing these words and thinking, I'm not asking anybody what that means. It sounds like I should know what that means, but I don't understand it. It's confusing. The shadow side of the face. How do I get shadows on a face? Why does that matter? And I remember Nick saying that when I first met him. It's like, shoot into the shadow side of the face. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to make that happen. And I remember then starting to watch TV shows and watch movies and watch dialogue. And so many times, if you're watching something on Netflix, you're watching something, Marvel movies, anything, when there's dialogue happening, the camera is placed in such a way that the shadow on the face is like they're shooting into those shadows. So if you look at the picture on the screen, the shadow is there on the right side of the nose of this bridesmaid, and the camera is placed in such a way that we're shooting into those shadows instead of shooting into the bright side of her nose. And what that does is it adds contrast, it adds depth. If you notice the opposite way, if you filmed it, something just looks off. It looks too flat. There's just something that's not as dramatic about it. So shooting into the shadow side of the face is going to immediately help make your dialogue more interesting. All right, Nick's looking at comments. I can tell he's laughing.
I'm just looking at the comments, and people are just going off on father of the brides. It's always the father of the bride that decides that he's the one that needs to walk off. It's
writing the check most of the time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Do what you want, man.
Something that took me a while to realize, because again, no one else is thinking of toast lighting, and no one else is thinking about this really, but the videographer, the DJ, kind of, because they need to make sure that it sounds good, with the microphones and stuff. But you have the ability to move the couple. You have the ability to move the speech giver where you want them and get them in the place that you want them. Here is one where the head table wasn't in a great spot. And so I actually pulled this couple into the reception space kind of at the front and had them sitting in chairs close to each other, next to each other, because it worked better to just have it laid out that way. So don't be fearful to move your couples so that you can have the angles correct. One thing that I'm always trying to avoid whenever positioning the speech giver and the couple is I do not want the couple to be looking like this, or the speech giver, to be looking like this, where their head is turned directly one side or the other. So I will then move them in front or move them to a different place so that we have a nice straight on angle rather than turning their face and they look really, really uncomfortable. So move your couple and also move your speech giver. Yeah, John.
Yeah, one of the things on that is that I like to talk to the couple beforehand just about the speeches and how important they are to me. And I won't ask them instead of, it's kind of like walking up to a minister and saying, may I please put this microphone on you? Instead of saying, I'm going to put this microphone on you. Asking the couple, is it okay if I move you, is different than, hey, for the speeches, that's really important. You've hired me because you like my film. So speeches are really important. During that time, I'm going to find the best place for you to sit, and I'll tell you where to sit. I'll light it up. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be perfect. And just letting them know beforehand. And then 20, 30 minutes before speeches, I might reiterate to them, just a reminder, I'm going to put the chairs. Sometimes I don't have to move the chairs, but if I'm going to have to move the chairs, I'll let them know, hey, I'm going to put a couple chairs over here for speeches. I'll get that all set up and we'll be ready to go. So be mindful of that as well. But you can move the couple, and you should move the couple if they're going to be having awkward angles and looking up and cricking their neck or whatever that is. So pay attention to those things. And we're not even into the where we should put cameras or lights or anything, Nick. And I already feel like this is worth the cost of admission, which is free.
Yeah. Another thing that you really need to do is be mindful of the backgrounds. And I know that sometimes whenever it comes to the toast in the reception space, you don't have much say, but do your absolute best. Here is a photo, an example of one that I just kind of, do my hand to the forehead emoji. I'm going to go full screen on this. You can see behind this bridesmaid that's where the bar was, and the bartenders were walking around, moving around, getting drinks ready while the toasts were going on. Unfortunately, there really wasn't a better option for this specific wedding reception going on, putting them right there. But if I can avoid shooting into the DJ booth, if I can avoid shooting into the band stage most of the time, and if I can avoid shooting into the bar, or, if there's a door into the kitchen where people are going to walk in and out, I do that at all costs, because I want this to be as I don't want it to be distracting. That's what I was trying to say there. I want this to be as I can't say that word. I don't know what unobstructing, the opposite of, you know what I'm saying there. Anyway, I don't want it to be distracting is what I'm trying to say. So,
yeah. I mean, when you're thinking about this, it sometimes, no matter what you do, sometimes you just can't, make it to where the background. So we're going to go through our process of how to try to find the best background. But being mindful, I've had so many times where I get things set up and, there's a lot of waiters going behind it the whole time, or in front of it the whole time, or there's a bartender, or there's an exit sign right there, or a door that's halfway open and lights kind of coming in, and I just haven't paid attention to it. And that's where you can set yourself apart, is if you're just paying attention to these things. Nick, you got to stop reading the comments.
It's I want to be unobtrusive. I want to be unobtrusive.
Unobtrusive.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for there. So anyway, all right, continuing on with this. Remember the 180 rule. Okay.
Nick, how can you remember the 180 rule if you don't even know what the heck it is?
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about the 180 rule. Perfect. So here is a little diagram of this wedding that I did, where just straight across we had the speech giver on one side and the couple on the other. So the first thing that you do after you get everyone into position, and here in a second we're going to talk about what the position should look like. The first thing you want to do is draw a line down the middle. Now this line could be however you want to draw it. Here we're just going, the bottom half of this image, but draw a line down the middle and cut your space in half. All right. The next thing that you want to do is draw a half circle on one side of the line that you drew. And then you are going to place your cameras on the same side as that circle, around that circle, avoiding, getting in your shot. Okay. And then pretend, if you want to know if you're following the 180 rule, pretend that your cameras are shooting laser beams out of them. And if those laser beams are crossing, you are following the 180 rule. All right. So that's a quick breakdown of what the 180 rule is. And here's a visual representation here. I'm going to pull this up full screen here. I just took that image of the speech giver and flipped it. And so the one on the top there would be if our beams did not cross. And as you see, as I'm editing it together, it would look like the couple and the speech giver were looking in the same direction. So as they're talking to each other, it just doesn't make sense. But because I did follow the 180 rule and the beams did cross that image at the bottom, you can see that they are looking at each other how they should look. And this is one of those things that kind of, you don't really think about it until you learn it. But if you watch every single movie that has dialogue in it, this is the rule that they are following. People are looking at each other, cameras are following the 180 rule, and their beams are crossing.
One thing I think about is for the 180 rule, it was confusing to me as well. I think about sports. If you think about watching a football game on TV or a basketball game on TV, all of the cameras are on one side of the court or one side of the field, maybe all the way till like the end zones or something. But if you could imagine, your favorite player, your favorite Dallas Cowboy, of course, running towards the end zone, towards the screen this way. They're running this way. They're about to score a touchdown, going to win the Super Bowl. Then they cut to another angle, but it's on the other side of the field. Well, the person will be running this way now. So it wouldn't make sense. The 180 rule would be broken. And so I always think of America's team, the best football team to ever exist, the Dallas Cowboys, and I would want to do them proud. So the 180 rule, that helped me. Anyway, it might help you, might not. Continue.
Oh, okay. Next, I want to talk about order of operations. And what I mean by this is, not every reception space is the same. There isn't a one size fits all whenever it comes to this. Yes, there are rules that you should follow when it comes to where to place the lights and where to place your cameras and that stuff. But, is it a round reception space? Is it very open? Is there a lot of tables or a lot of people? So there's lots of different things that you need to consider. The first thing that I am thinking about with this is where I want to place the speech giver. First and foremost, this is what I'm thinking of. And so again, I'm looking at, trying not to shoot into the DJ booth or the band stage, or if there's a kitchen or bar service behind where people are going to be walking. I try to avoid that as much as I can. So that's first. And after I find that place, then I am going to place the couple based on the location of the speech giver. Okay. Sometimes this means that a couple stays at the head table. Sometimes it means that they get pulled out into the reception space. Sometimes I've even had them kind of stand to the side of whoever is speaking. I typically don't do that anymore. I like to let them sit and enjoy what's going on. But based on where the speech giver is, then I will place my couple. After I have those two things figured out, then I decide where I'm going to place my lights. So I'm actually placing my lights third in this situation. So I have the speech giver, then the couple, then the lights, and then based on that, I am deciding where I'm going to place my cameras. So pull it up here. This is my order of operations every single time I walk in and I start figuring out reception lighting for the toasts. John,
And that'll help you a ton.
This?
Yeah, that will help you a ton. I learned a lot from Nick on this, and then I would get into a room and I would start setting up lights and start setting up tripods and get everything and then be filming, and I was like, wait, the lights are on the same side of the cameras, or something's wrong, or the shadows are on the wrong side of the face. Couple of notes. If you set everything up and it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. That's not what we're here for. We're here to help you learn some of these rules so that you can continue to get better. It took me about 3 or 4 tries to really get it to where I could knock this out pretty quickly. But yeah, you find where you want that speech giver to go. Then you find where you want the couple to go so they can be looking at each other. I'm thinking too, how can I not be in front of people with my camera? I'm just thinking all these things. Sometimes I have to be, sometimes I don't. But walking into a room saying, what's going to be my best angle for my speech giver? That's the most important thing. Then I can say, this is where the couple should go. Then I should say, well, if this is where the speech giver is going to be in the angle I want, I know that I want the light to put a shadow on this side of their face. This is where the lights need to go. And we'll talk about the lights here in a second. Now I know where my cameras need to go. Bada bee, bada boom. Okay.
All right. So now before we actually get into the placing of lights and that stuff, we want to remind you that we're giving away an Aputure 60X. So I'm here putting in the chat the form that if you've already filled it out once, you don't need to fill it out again. You only get one. Multiple times filling it out is not going to help you with that. So
you get 100. You get 100 bonus votes if you just like this video right now.
Ooh.
Nick's gonna figure that out.
Okay. So go ahead and like this video. Another thing that we want to talk about, John, is the complete wedding videography course. Complete wedding. Did I say that right? Yeah. The complete wedding videography course is going on sale next Monday. John, I know that you're excited about this. I'm excited about this. What do you want to share about it?
Yeah, quick elevator pitch. If you are loving this kind of information, the complete wedding videography course, 3 modules, business, shooting, editing. It's about 30 hours of content where Nick and I break down literally everything. If you're watching this video and you've taken the course, maybe put a little note on your thoughts on the course. But we built this course. It's $1,500, $1,497. To be the complete guide for you to get over those $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 films and beyond. And then we just kept adding stuff to it. All of our digital templates from our template shops, our posing guide, YouTube mastery, all these extra things, all of our pricing guides, and then filmed behind the scenes of myself and Nick at weddings. So you can watch us do actual job shadows, Nick editing a full wedding film. And then I've started recording all of my Zoom consultations, and people say that's their favorite part, is just watching us. So if you are bad at business, or if you're bad at shooting or editing or usually there's somewhere in there that you could use some gaps filled in. We've got it spread out easy, as you can see, to just find sections, learn different things, and go back, and you get lifetime access. So that's coming out on Monday. Yeah, that's what I have to say about it. This is the 3rd year we've had this available, and just been proven time and time again with hundreds and hundreds of filmmakers joining. If you have questions about it, let us know. DM us on Instagram or comment, because we'd love for you to check it out.
Yeah. So there is that. That will go online Monday. If you click the link, completeweddingvideography.com, or the QR code that's on the screen, it will take you to, you can check out a free section from the course if you would like to see what it is all about. But now, guys, let's get into toast lighting itself. I see lots of questions in here, and we will be sure to answer some of those towards the end. So make sure that you keep those in your back pocket. But we're going to go over a 2 light setup and a 3 light setup. John, do you have something you want to say over there?
Nope.
Oh, it looked like you were holding your finger up. So first we are going to talk about a 2 light setup. And so with a 2 light setup, you have first what is called a key light. And if you're confused or you're not sure what a key light is, it is simply the main source of light on a specific subject. As you can see, both John and I have these nice big soft boxes on our faces, and so our faces are lit up on this side. That is what is called a key light. Here in this example, the father of the bride toast, you can see how his face is lit up, how nice he looks. We have the lights turned off in the back and the fall-off's really there. Looks really nice. And then here is the couple, the same thing. There is a key light on them. Their faces are lit up. It looks really nice. Now, the other thing with that is the hair light. Sometimes this is called a rim light. And all this does, when you can add this in, is it just adds some separation between your subject and what is behind them. Okay, John just turned on a little, why don't you turn that off and turn that back on again? So, okay.
With my Aputure light, I've got this little app that I can just click this button and turn on my hair light. Huh? I can change the brightness of it. Boom. Down. Okay. Too much hair light. Anyway.
So a hair light or a rim light, it just separates you from the background there. And so here in an example, if you can look, I know father of the bride here is bald like I will be, and well, I already am, but you can kind of see his little hairs, up there at the top.
It's hilarious you picked him for the hair light.
Dude, I love
guys represent.
I know. Hey, we need love too. You can just see that it adds a little bit of separation, and it's also hitting him on the shoulder there. You can see that too. So that's, again, just some more separation.
It's a really clean image.
Yeah. And here on the couple, now this one, the hair light wasn't as important for them because there's so much light and so much things that are happening on in the background, but you can kind of see right behind her hair, above the groom on the top of his head, you can just kind of see all these little lights. And again, it's just adding that little bit of separation and makes the image have a little bit more depth and looks really nice. John, do you have anything you want to add, or do you want me to keep on going here?
You're doing a great job. I'm going to say keep going.
Okay. So here again is the layout of this specific reception space, where I actually had their head table, or kind of had the bridal party was at this table that their backs are to, and they were actually on the end of it, and I moved them. A couple of bridesmaids and a groom, and I moved them to the other side so that I could put the couple right here at the front so they could be looking at the speech giver. So the first light, this was the key light, and if you're with the couple, this was behind them to the left, and it hits the speech giver there in the face, fills it up really nice. It looks really good. And then this light is also acting as the hair light on the couple. So it's doing 2 jobs there, the key light and then the hair light on the couple. And then when we add the other one in, it's doing the same thing, but in reverse. So here we are behind the speech giver to the right, where it's giving them that nice hair light, that rim light, but it's a good, nice key on the couple, and it just looks really good. Yeah, John.
This is typically what I'm doing. I love a good hair light. I didn't understand it for a while. Sometimes this isn't possible, just the shape of the room. Again, I'm just thinking when it comes to lighting, the priority for me is going to be the speech giver first. And so I want a good key light on the speech giver and a hair light. And if that key light doesn't act as a hair light and vice versa. I might bring in an extra light. We'll talk about that in a second. But with two lights, especially like two of these Aputure lights, these $400, $500 setup kind of lights, you should be able to get by most of the time with two. I always bring an extra one, but of the 12, 13 weddings I did this year, I think I used the third light once. So make them do double duty. Have those lights become the hair light for one and the key light for the other, and have them cross beams.
Yeah. And then, as you can see here, we followed our 180 rule, and this is exactly how we had it set up, where the lights were on one side and then the cameras were on the other. If you want to shoot into the shadow side of the face, a thing that you should take into account and try to learn and do is have your cameras be on the opposite side of your lights. If you're having trouble with that and you're like, man, why am I not shooting into the shadow side? If your cameras are on the opposite side of the room, as you can see it here in this image, okay, as you can see it here in this image, that will help you shoot into the shadow side of your face because the lights will be casting a shadow in that direction. And
a couple things I saw, Nick. Number one, if you only have one light, yes, I think it was Cameron asked, if you only have one light, should you just light the speech giver? Yes, I would do that, but I would try to do it over the shoulder of the couple. Again, I feel like $100 little Aputure panel or a little like torchlight kind of light as a second light, if you are slowly building up a kit, and we have a link to our kit, it's worth it. It's worth the extra $100 to have that second light. But yes, I'm showing the speech giver 10 times more than I am the couple during speeches. So, yeah, I just wanted to interject that, Nick.
Yeah. And then here is the final result. I've kind of had this up a little bit before, but this is exactly how it looked in our film. They're looking at each other. This is probably my favorite toast lighting, speech lighting that my wife and I have ever done. It just looks
it's nice and soft
so
on the
on both of them. On both of them, it looks great. It doesn't always look this good. So again,
and one thing I want to throw out there, Nick, is that like these are just some of the rules that if you know the rules, you know how to break them. Maybe you want to do something extra. Like I've done things where it's like, oh, I feel like that background might be too dark. Maybe I'll throw a light up on the wall behind that speech giver or whatever. Like there's different things where I might muddy up the foreground and put like a candle in front of the lens a little bit to make it a little like you can start to have fun and do things once you've learned some of these rules.
Yeah, definitely. So here we are again. I put the link if you haven't entered to win the Aputure light. That QR code right there. Someone will win. Again, you need to be present. You need to be present to win. So moving on, we are going from a 2 light setup. Now we are going to go into a 3 light setup, but a lot of the principles are exactly the same. The space was just a little bit different. And so the 3 light worked better for what we wanted as opposed to the 2 light. So here I had this was the best man and father of the groom doing his toast. As you can see, we're shooting into the shadow side of his face. He's lit up well, and then we have that hair light on his shoulder and the side of his head. It looks really nice. And then here is the couple, again, shooting into the shadow side of their face. It looks just really nice. So this was the layout. This is one of those reception spaces where the couple was on the clear other side of the, it was in a tent and kind of long and skinny, and they were on the opposite end of where we needed to do the toasts. And so I actually put them in chairs and moved them onto the dance floor, on the edge of the dance floor like this. This was one where I did shoot into the band stage. That's the band stage that's right behind it, but with the bokeh and, shooting at 200 millimeters. So there's nice compression and it just looked really smooth in the background and buttery in the background. I felt okay doing that because I knew I could make it look great, even though I was shooting into the band stage. So the key light. This is one where I had it on the toast giver and it's behind to the right of the couple, doing a little bit of hair light on them, not a ton, but a little bit, and then filling up the front of him. And then the other one, this one, the space just, I couldn't, it was too far apart. I couldn't get it to look where I could just use 2 lights for this. So I have my third light for this, and I put it just to the left of the speech giver. And so that light is solely hitting the couple. All right, that's its only job. It's not getting the speech giver. And then I had a hair light, which I put again over to the side there to give that hair light just to the speech giver. I was not concerned about trying to do something else with that. So the key light on the speech giver worked as a hair light for the couple, but then the key light on the couple was only for that purpose. And then the hair light on the speech giver was only for that purpose. And then again, we followed the 180 rule here. So, and here is the final result. John, anything you want to add?
A couple things that I'm thinking about. You said it, you had it at 200. The lens choice is important. We didn't go deep into this because we're talking about the lighting. We go into that further into our course, but I did want to answer that question because somebody mentioned it. I think you're doing this as well, but I have a 70 to 200 on the speech giver typically, as well as on the couple. I'm trying to get as close to 200 just because I like the compression for the speech giver especially. But like, I love how on this final result, you can see a little bit of the people in the background and stuff like that. That was one thing. That's what I use. Do you use 70 to 200s mainly, or sometimes I'll switch to maybe a 50 depending,
the only time we use something wider than that would just be if the space was weird and, you know, there were lots of tables, like one that we did in Illinois earlier this year. It was in a tent and there were just so many people around that we had no other option than to use a 50. Yeah.
And then the other thing that someone asked, I thought was a really good question, reactions from the crowd. Here's what I do. I don't like bringing a light to necessarily blast the crowd with or anything like that, but that is another scenario where I might bring a third light and kind of flood an area. These Aputure lights are great for like a spot versus a flood, which just flooding is instead of spot, on a specific spot, you can widen the beam. So it just kind of gives a natural ambiance. I will have a third camera on a monopod or handheld that's kind of roaming, that's getting reactions. And that I think is a beautiful angle. I love having these 2 angles and then a third angle for creativity. Sometimes I'm on a gimbal with my third angle. Sometimes I'm on like a 135 shooting through something, depending on the room. But if you get these things figured out, these 2 angles, that gives you, now we know what we can do with a third angle if we want to do that. Some people are like, I don't care about that, but I love finding like the mother of the bride when the father of the bride is speaking, or the siblings, or so sometimes I will have a third camera. Sometimes I will also use the camera that is on the bride and the groom, or the bride and the bride, or the groom and the groom, and I will film with, I'll take it off the couple and I'll move it over to whoever the person's talking about, or things like that, because it's usually somebody around the bride and groom that's going to be the most reactional. Maid of honor sitting right next to her, best friend, or mom's at the table, or whatever. So it's usually lit decently well as well. Nick, we didn't talk about the color temperature. I know that was a question that was also asked. I don't want to go super deep into it, but maybe talk just for a second on, you said bicolor lights. What are you thinking about when it comes to the color temperature?
Right. So you want your lights to match the ambience of the room. And typically reception spaces when this happened are very dark. And so whenever things get darker, they get more tungsten or they get more orange. So if you're shooting in a dark room, you want your lights to have that tungsten orange light, which your light setting, if you have a bicolor light, is going to be in the 3000 range for Kelvin. So now whenever you pop open your camera, you turn on your camera, and if you start filming, if you're filming in Kelvin, or, your image might look really, really orange because all your lights in the room is so orange. So then you will correct that by filming making your camera really cool. So if your Kelvin is 3000 for your lights, which is very orange, your camera for 3000, it inverts that number. So it makes it really, really cool so that it will balance it out. So those are the things that I'm thinking about with there. If it's dark, I am making my lights as orange as possible.
Aperture light gets even too orange. So I usually am setting mine around 3200 Kelvin after dark.
Yeah, that
It
one
goes down to
goes to
like
like,
2700 or
yeah,
something.
yeah, it goes lower than
Um,
that. Yeah.
so I put it in the comments, but if you have a question, if you've written a question out, there's been hundreds and hundreds of comments instead of scrolling back. If you have a question, put it in the comments. We've got about 10 minutes left in this live stream. Be happy to answer them. Nick, the question from Caitlin and Matt, how do you handle lighting in I'm sorry, I don't want to ask that one yet. I wanted to
Okay.
ask camera. What do you suggest if you have a sunset? Yeah, camera
I'm
tip.
sorry, a what?
What do you what do you suggest if you have a sunset in the background and constantly changing white balance?
Um, this is where you bring your lights and you set them up before sunset happens, and try and make maybe I would probably make it where the sunset behind is kind of acting as like a hair light or a rim light. So it's doing some stuff behind them, and then put the lights in front of them and shoot that way. And that way, when the sun goes down, you have a constant light that is the right color temperature, which I would go ahead and make pretty orange as the sun's going down. That's what I
Another
would do.
thing you might just mention, and I think we don't think about this as the filmmakers. It's like we're just kind of whatever happens happens. But the other day we were about to do speeches at a tented wedding and the sun was like blaring through, and I just said to the planner, can we wait like 20 minutes? And they're like, absolutely, we'll do this first and whatever. And then the sun went all the way down
Mm-hmm,
and it was
mm-hmm.
easier to control. Auto white balance on something like that will be a nightmare if you're shooting auto white balance. So setting your color temperature between speeches maybe, and then bumping up the Kelvin or whatever, or warming it up um, after like each speech or something might be helpful. But yeah, maybe even just asking if you can move the speeches back 20, 30 more minutes till the sunset is happened. That'll help
Mm-hmm.
a lot. Okay, I'm gonna grab
Yeah.
another question for you, Nick.
Um, I, I
Um, you
I
got
saw
one?
one. Yeah, I think it was Destiny asked if we're using any sort of soft boxes or anything like that. I am not. We currently use the Practolites, but one thing that I am using every single wedding is the barn doors. And what the barn doors do is it just makes it so that you can kind of shape the light a little bit, so that I can, kind of have a hard edge rather than it filling, having just this fill light flooding into the space. So I don't put any kind of softbox, but I do use the barn doors. John, you got another question over there?
Real quickly, Alpha said, how do I enter the giveaway? There's a link at the top of the description of this video to do that. Okay, this is the question I was going to ask earlier. Caitlin
Yes.
and Matt says, how do you handle lighting in smaller areas where you don't have the space for large light stands vertically? Good question. It's been a long time for me since I've been like in a super short. I did do one in New York in January, and the ceilings were like 9 feet, but the room was really wide. So I was able to get the lights like right up by the ceiling and then just tilt them down a little bit and only turn them on and off for toasts when I needed them and dances when I needed them. Because one thing we do recommend is having your lights over at least 8 feet up in the air, secured safely, of course. But
Higher than
like
that,
I like,
probably.
huh?
I said, and even higher than that if you can.
Oh yeah, mine go 12 feet up. I think I'm usually sitting around 10 feet up in the air. Um, it just is a little more flattering the more above it can get. Like this light that's on me is above me. If it was like right in my eyes, it would just be a little less flattering, and it would burn to look at all the time. So, all right, Nick, you have a question to grab, or
Um,
I can grab more. I'm
Okay.
looking for more.
Do you ever have issues with a venue telling you you cannot set up a light? I had that once. That was Dan. I have never worked at a venue telling me I can't set up any lights. I have heard of a couple that it's like an insurance issue, because I guess somebody tripped over something and they caused a lot of damage, and so they're like, we don't allow tripods, we don't allow light stands, we don't allow any of that stuff. That is very, very rare. That is definitely the exception. I would make sure that I am communicating with the couple and in the planner and stuff, because you never know, like, we need light to do our job, especially when stuff gets dark. So I'd be communicating that with them. But also in our contract, we have a line that says something. I follow the rules of the venue. So if the venue has a rule where I can't use that, I will do everything that I can to get light and make it happen. But if they tell me I can't do that, like legally for some reason, then I'm going to follow that. And there's nothing that I can do. I'm following the rules of the venue.
Yeah. I think too, choosing which hill you want to die on.
Mm-hmm.
Some luxury wedding planners, they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on lighting for some of these weddings. And they're not like, I know a couple of our friends that aren't like to do a lot of luxury weddings that aren't allowed to bring lights a lot of the time. So
Mm-hmm.
they just have
Mm-hmm.
like a little handheld light that they hold off camera. It's all along the lines of like you doing a little bit of pre-production, knowing kind of the rules. One of the questions I saw was, do you ever get any pushbacks from the photographer not having the couple standing right next so they can't get their photo? For me, on that, this is the speeches. They're my time. They're to take care of the couple the best. What is the couple going to want more? A
Mm-hmm.
photo of the speeches or the actual speeches with the audio? And so I clear that with the couple beforehand. And if need be, I'll reiterate to the photographer, hey, the couple has told me they want me to set this up. I'm going to put them here. I'm going to put them here. If you want to get a stage shot after it's over, they said that was fine. I'm not just saying, do you mind if I do this? I'm not, and I'm super kind about it. But again, I'm like, the couple has told me they want me to set these speeches up. This is really important to them in their video. But I've also had to do the legwork beforehand to make sure that that's the case. Because if it's not the case, yeah, I'll just take whatever I'm given. If the couple cares more about what the photographer gets in that moment, sure, like if that's what they want. But I think with just some proper communication, the photographers that I work with, they love when we set up our lights.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh my goodness, these speeches are the best. These look better than anything I do. You know, they're not having to pop a flash, and it just looks great. It's constant light for them. They don't have to mess with focusing. They like, and so literally, I did a wedding last month. The photographers I think were paid around 30,000. There were three of them, and I got my light set up, my constant light set up. And one of the main photographer walked up and he's like, this is the best lighting for speeches we've ever done. We've ever seen. Great job. You know what you're doing when it comes to lighting. Their photos looked better because of it. They had different angles and it was able, these stills that are, that Nick was showing us, these final result stills, like those could be stills for photos that look great. And so the photographers are happy about it. What else you got, Nick? We got what, 2 more minutes? I know there's a lot of questions.
Oh, I saw one in here. Let me go back. A lot of people are asking about light stands and mic stands and the stuff that we. I know that. Well, actually, here while we're doing this, let me go back. Here you go. This is a link to our kit. There's a QR code where you can check out that stuff there. A couple different options. There's a Manfrotto one that are really heavy duty. They're heavy, they're expensive. And then we have an Impact one that are nice. They're not as heavy duty as the Manfrotto ones, but they work really well. Okay. Someone asked something along the lines, what do you do about like a DJ or someone that doesn't want, like they want to control where the toast stands? And I think it's kind of the same thing of, with that photographer question, just talking to them and communicating with them. Like I suggest this is what I'm going to do. And they're like, oh, I've never seen it done that way before. Or that's not how we normally do it. Like that's normally their complaint with it is it's out of their norm. And so just communicating with those, also with the house lights going down, I tell the venue owner or the planner that I like them turned really low or maybe even off if possible. If there's some uplighting, or like you can leave the uplighting on, and then I said, I have my lights on. I think they're worried that it's going to be just this pitch black space and no one's going to be able to see anything. With our lights, there is going to be light. They are going to see. It's just, the ambience of the room and how we want it to look. So asking them to turn it down and just communicating with that. And most people are okay with it. I've had some pushback with some, but it's been okay. So,
yeah. All good questions, and there's still 155 of you watching, which is great. Really appreciate that. Larev Films wants to know if they won the lights yet. No, we haven't won yet, but we're going to do that soon. Nick, I did see a quick problem. There's 162 people watching now, but only 115 current likes on the video. That's confusing because I feel like this is some solid gold information. If you haven't yet, do the YouTube 2022 thing. What's up, everybody? Smash that like button. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Hit that like button. It helps us show up this video later. Nick, before we leave today, we're going to do this giveaway, and I want to hang on just a few minutes if people have questions about the complete wedding videography course, which opens for enrollment on Monday. It's
Okay.
$14.90.
I'm gonna go ahead. The giveaway entering has been closed, guys. Thank you. We have like 300 submissions, and there's only 150 people watching, and you have to be present to win. So,
no, the number's going up now because people are smart. They're showing up. There's 169.
Anyway, I'm gonna go take care of that. You do your. I'm gonna put you full screen and let you talk about the course.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so first of all, if you've already taken the course, please post in the comments your thoughts. Our goal is not to spam you with this course. Our goal in creating this course was to help elevate the industry. And now that it's been available for a couple of years and we keep adding to it, we have seen people go from charging $700 to $7,000 in the course of 3 years. This is what we want for people. We want to elevate the industry. So if you have questions about that, please let us know. There's a lot more questions that you guys are asking, and they're all great. And we want to go deeper with you. One of the great things about the course is that we have a private Facebook group just for people in the course. And you can ask them in the main Facebook group. It's a little bit larger of a group, or how to film weddings group, with about 15,000 people in it or whatever. But the complete wedding videography group has 400 or 500 people in it. And we can see those comments a little bit easier. And we answering those, since you all have invested into our course. We want to invest more into the time. So if you have more questions about things, please don't hesitate to ask. Send us a DM on Instagram if you want. We're doing our best. There's so much growth in how to film weddings. It's crazy. Hundreds of new people joining every week. The Facebook group, our download numbers are ridiculous. Like, they're the best they've ever been. So the audience is growing, and there's so many more of you that are wanting to learn and grow. And that's amazing. And that's why we do what we do. So that course comes out on Monday. It's $14.97 if you pay in full, or we have payment plans starting at $149. It includes all the digital templates. It includes everything, business shooting, editing modules. It includes all of our pricing guides, all of our posing guides. There's so many things in there, and we keep adding things to it every month. We do lives. We do all kinds of extra things in there. So be sure to check it out. Nick, are you done? Are you ready? You're muted.
All right, I am done. I'm ready. Can you hear me now? Yeah. We good?
Cool.
We good? Okay, guys, we had this is going to be crazy because you have to be present to win. We had over 300 submissions, and right now there's 171 people that are here. So, I don't know. This is going to be interesting here, John.
So how are you going to do this, Nick? I didn't even ask you. You're doing like, are you
I have the wheel of names, and the wheel of names is on screen with everyone's email address. And
oh man, don't make screen grabs of people's email addresses. Don't be a douche, guys, okay? Don't do that.
Don't do that. Anyway.
DBAD. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go.
Wait,
guys.
Wait.
What?
Before you give it away, shouldn't we make them say something in the comments real fast? I'm just saying, like, emoji of their, like, to describe their feelings. Just saying. I love a good, like, holding on to the edge of your seat. Let us know in the comments.
How excited
via emoji. How excited you are. Wow, that's a lot of people. Okay. It looks like it's ready. I think we're good. I'll let you do your thing.
Okay. All right, guys. Here we go. I am doing it. It makes a fun noise, but I don't know if I have it set up so you can hear that. Sorry. But here we go. The winner of the Aputure light is... Oh, it's spinning. It's spinning.
I can't see it. So.
I know. I'm telling you, it's spinning. It's spinning. And the winner... Mark Campbell 16 at gmail.com. Mark, are you here?
Mark, if you are
here,
put in the comments, I am Mark, I am winner. Just like that. If not, you've got 30 seconds and we're going to pick a new name.
Oh, hold on. They haven't hit it yet. It hasn't hit it yet on the YouTube.
Know,
I'm watching. Okay, you're seeing it. Okay, there it is.
Mark, 30 seconds from right now. I understand, Nick. We've got to wait like a minute. I understand how it works.
I know.
All right. Not here.
That's not me. That's not me. Congrats, Mark.
Here,
not here.
not
Next.
Me. Bye, Mark. No, Mark. Mark is gone. I am not Mark. Oh, man.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
All right, we've got 172 people, 173 people watching. If you want us to go spin again, hit that like button under the video. We've only got 155 likes.
Classic Mark, John. It's classic
Classic
Mark.
Mark. Classic. Oh, man. All right, we got 5 more seconds.
Okay, 5.
We've been waiting.
4. 3.
You cannot identify as Mark.
2. 1. Okay, Mark, you have been
All right,
removed.
New
New
name. Let's
name.
go.
Mark has been removed. And here we go. Another spin.
Spinning it again.
Another
Oh, my
spin.
goodness.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh,
I'm
that'd
so
be
nervous.
a bummer if he paused it to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that would be a bummer. That would be a bummer. Cam at CameronMartinez.com. You are our new winner. We gotta wait. We gotta wait 30 seconds now. Man. Oh, I hope Cam is here.
Who was it?
It's Cam at CameronMartinez.com. I'm guessing Cameron Martinez. That's just a good guess, I would say.
Man. If you are here, Cam, say, I am Cam. I am Win.
I am Win. Cam is not here.
Cam, are you here?
Oh.
Mark walked away like your dad during his toasts. That's savage.
Oh, that's awesome. Cam left already. Cam,
are you here?
Oh, John.
Wait, did he say it?
We see it. Congrats, Cam. Cam, are you here?
I don't see it, Cam. Cam, put it in
someone,
there.
Someone added him.
Cam, he said hello. He says hello. Cameron Martinez. I see him. He's here.
You do? You see him?
Yeah, I did. I saw him. IB Win. He said IB Win. I see him.
Okay.
Cameron, you win.
Cameron, congratulations. Send us an email over to hello@howtofilmweddings.com. You got to follow up with us here. That's hello@howtofilmweddings.com, and we will hook you up with something. And that something is an Aputure light. So,
dude, you're going to love that light, Cameron. It's me. I see you, Cameron. Send us that email. We're going to hang on to answer a couple more questions. We got about 5 minutes of time. Nick, I hope you have 5 minutes of time.
Sure.
To answer a couple questions about our course or the light situation for speeches. We're not going to go into lighting other things. I saw a question about first dances and things like that. We just don't have time to get into that today. That's why that course is going to help you a ton. All right. Nice stream. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Watch the numbers dwindle. Anybody have any questions about the course or what we talked about today? If not, we will get out of here. I know there's a delay, Nick. So before that, I think I just want to say publicly, you did a great job with this presentation.
Oh, thanks.
Nick was working on this, 7 this morning. I was starting to get texts from Nick.
Yeah,
he was already
something like that,
drinking his pot of coffee and stuff like that. Cameron, I'm happy that you didn't purchase yet because you have one. It will change your life. Do we recommend sandbags? Yes. I don't always use them though. Going to be honest. Yeah. I recommend them. Can you get in the course even if you live in the UK?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The market is different in the UK, but the principles, the way we recorded this, it's going to help you raise your prices and elevate your films, shooting and editing. It's going to do nothing but help you. We've had tons of people all over the planet purchase the course and love it.
Yeah. Same thing with someone asked about Mexico. Exact same thing for you there.
SChem Studios, glad you're going to utilize this knowledge for the start of weddings. That's great. Social media strategies are in the course. We're doing some updates to those, but they're in there. They're more like the way we recorded it was not like, here's how Instagram works in 2021 or 22, because it changes so much, but more strategy on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, YouTube, things like that. So yeah, there is, it's not a deep dive into how to do social media and those things, but the cool part about the course is the Facebook group where you can ask extra questions. We can go a little deeper, things like that. What will the first 25 who sign up get? Isaac, stay tuned for that. Because we're still finalizing that.
No, I mean we know, but maybe we don't.
Do you want to?
I don't know.
We'll hold off. We'll hold off until.
We'll hold off.
Second Aputure giveaway. You're welcome. Love and focus.
Oh,
see you, Ember and Ash. Okay. If you do have questions, Instagram is the best place to find us.
Yep.
at How to Film Weddings. Really easy to find. Send us a DM over there. We'll try to answer. Sometimes we answer with audio just so you can get a voice message that's a little easier to explain certain things. We're doing those all the time. But Nick, How to Film Weddings exists so that we can elevate the wedding video industry. It's crazy that we're now into our 5th year doing this.
I know.
Big things are happening. We've got this course launching. We've got our mastermind group coming out in January, and things just continue to grow and we continue to help more people. So if you're watching, you can hear our voice. Thanks for taking your time. Like, we know your time is precious and important, and like, we don't take that for granted. Hopefully this was worth it for you. You're able to elevate your speech and toast lighting, and you can make those little tweaks that are going to make you do better in your wedding business. Nick, you're my best good buddy. I always love hanging out with you. I don't have anything else to say. If you do,
I don't know. I don't. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Hopefully this is helpful. Oh, and if you would like to rewatch this video, but in a condensed version, I actually have a YouTube video going online as soon as I turn this one off. That's all that information in like 9 minutes. So that will help you also there.
It's like we know what we're doing.
It's like, yeah, it's like we do. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and feel free to reach out to us.